I am totally pumped about today's show, which is an interview with Ryan O'Connor from Reel to Reel Haven, based here in Brooklyn, New York. And the reason I'm so pumped up is because Ryan O'Connor is easily one of the most passionate people I have ever met in the world of audio. You know, he's just got a spark, a passion that runs so deep. And you'll find out more about that over the course of this interview. But let's just say the guy loves analog. He loves analog tape, specifically reel to reel. And at Reel to Reel Haven, they repair reel to reel machines. They sell restored machines. But wait, there's more. Reel to Reel Haven is also a 24-track, all analog studio. No digital gear whatsoever. Yeah, that's pretty special. But rather than me babble on about what it is, I'm just going to let Ryan tell you about it. But before I do that, I have to apologize because the video quality in today's show is not so hot. I was having technical issues that I was unaware of at the time. So anyway, this is what it is. But Ryan was so good. I really, really, really want you to see it. So let's get to it. Ryan, I got a very important question. So are you an audiophile?
By my definition, no.
Okay.
I don't think I fully know all of the range of what an audiophile is, but I would say that I feel like when I'm approached by a typical audiophile, they're overly interested in measurements, and it gets way too down in the weeds where I would assume to say it doesn't even matter.
So you're an anti-measurement guy, because I am. So
I'm anti-measurement as soon as the phase of manufacturing is over. How you could use measurements when every room is different, I just don't fundamentally understand how a measurement is held and coveted so intensely when the measurement with the same machine, the same speakers, the same rack, whatever, is not going to sound the same next door.
Right.
So I don't mean to put anybody down, but what are you measuring?
It's just bad toilet training. That's what it really comes down to.
Yes, I will happily agree with you.
Some kind of insecurity thing about what things sound like. I don't understand. But anyway, this place of yours is mind-blowing.
Thank you.
I've seen a lot of audio in my life.
I know.
A lot of audio. And this is, I wouldn't even say next level. It's the level after next level.
Wow. I mean, you are the next level critic, reviewer, influencer. So hearing that from you is mind-blowing.
So anyway, well, I don't even know where to begin in terms of asking you the questions as to who are you? Let's do it that. Who are you? Who the hell are you? How dare you?
How dare I? I would say that my life in music certainly changed after I, thank God, luckily beat this really rare form of cancer that put a tumor in my neck that ate away my spinal bone.
Yeah. Wow.
I have an incredible father, also an incredible mother, but definitely the biggest influence in my life. And he had a radio show for almost 20 years. It was called the Pepsi College Basketball Report. And I remember being a kid and seeing the mic booms and seeing the turntables and seeing the tape decks and this and that. And my favorite thing was the dump button. I always thought that was so funny. There would be a bad caller or something, and my dad would hit the dump button, and I would just erupt. I thought it was so funny. I loved listening to him at home when I couldn't be in the studio because the hours.
Voice for radio, apparently.
Yeah, he was so good at it, and it brought me right into wanting to be into this world.
So you like tech?
I do. I would say that my brain wants to do more engineering things during the day than anything else. I do miss the days where I could sit at those benches and do my best before handing it off to our senior technicians. Now I am so inundated I can only work on the system instead of in it.
But what is this?
This place is two things.
And where are we?
We are in Reel to Reel Haven Studios in Brooklyn, New York, in Greenpoint. And this is a facility that could not be more dear to my heart, and it's two things. First and foremost, it is a weapon against cancer.
A weapon?
And we
weapon
use
against cancer?
That's right. And we use it to raise what we think are eradication level funds.
Wow.
And we use the live room that you've already toured over there, to bring in as many people as we can This past Monday, we did the Lumineers. We had about 120 people in here. And we had a very intimate session with Wesley and Jeremiah. John from KEXP, my good buddy, did the interview. And we did this live recording, which will be released. But we did it to raise money for the cancer fund that we are close to, as well as for KEXP in this particular recording. But again, this place's first job is not audio, actually. This facility's first job is to be a major part of raising the funds we need to end cancer, period. From there, I operate 2 businesses. I operate Reel-to-Reel Haven here, which is, I'm hoping, will become the most immersive marketplace for all and only things reel-to-reel. We don't fix speakers, we don't fix turntables, we're not a dealer of equipment. We never want to be those things. We want to simply and always focus on providing a trusted, warranted, reel-to-reel marketplace. If you go on eBay or Reverb, 95% of the descriptions are wrong. It's a nightmare. We keep losing people in our industry. So I wanted to stop that. And so if we start with this, Reel-to-Reel Haven is the marketplace. Our departments range from transfer and audio preservation with baking ovens in the basement, transfer station behind me. We obviously repair people's tape decks. We buy broken tape decks, restore them, and then sell them to individuals, labels, studios,
So
archiving
pro
institutions.
stuff and consumer.
That's correct. Well, there's not we're doing very well, and now there's not enough techs or time to do the consumer grade decks.
Oh, okay.
So I'm desperate to find another technician, but the old guard is passing. It's very difficult to transfer the knowledge. And so that's one of my daily activities, is try to find young people that really want to learn this and have a home for a long time. Just because of who you are, I'm going to make a quick plug.
Find some here,
Yeah, and say, hey, we start off at $80 an hour.
You do?
And our top techs make $200 an hour.
You do? Man, I want a
Yes.
job.
Okay, I would hire you in a heartbeat. No resume
Only
needed.
I got to learn how to solder.
Yeah.
Right.
But no, we run, Reel-to-Reel Haven is the marketplace, okay? And then Stella Records, my other company, is a recording company. I want to say that again. It is not a label. I don't ever want to be a label. It is a recording company where we record straight to tape. We release those recordings only on tape.
And the studio is all analog.
It's 100%
100%.
analog.
How dare you?
There are
What
only
century
6
you're in?
pieces of outboard gear here. Those are all analog.
Wow.
And our early reviews from people like Klaus Mueller and Hi-Fi Pig and those have said things that make me very proud and very happy that this is like the essence of what raw live recording used to be like. And that's very powerful.
And you're releasing them on tape?
We are releasing our music only on 10.5-inch quarter-inch reels. Mm-hmm. And one of the things I'm also most proud of is that we're lucky, we worked hard to get where we are, but we are able to help the artists. And here's exactly how we do it. We bring them in and we do the recording live, and we raise
24 track.
That's 24 track, and then we mix master down to half-inch half track with brand new heads that the legend John French made for me, the head assembly, and then we make our quarter-inch copies down on various machines, Ampex 440s, 807s, 800s, Otaris, whatever. But one of the things I'm most proud of is that the artist gets to walk away with a half-inch half track master that would have cost them somewhere between $35,000 and $45,000 to make. I give it to them for basically free for their commercial use. I only use my half-inch half-track master to sell the hi-fi stuff to make more money to eradicate cancer.
But wait, that's fantastic. But you use it, but you don't sell tape copies yourself, but you do.
We do.
You do.
Through Reel-to-Reel Haven.
Right, okay.
No new music, complete marketplace.
Of the bands that you're recording.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those there's examples right there.
Yeah,
Catherine Russell, Adam Levy, Kishi Bashi. On Monday we did the Lumineers. Mm-hmm. They're all for sale.
Okay.
And
how much are the tapes?
The market standard is $550. We're at $475. Our quarter-inch copies are our first-generation copies. I think at most we'll run 1,000 copies at most, and we'll always have, let's say, 50 to 100 come from the half-inch before we have another half-inch come in. Okay. The degradation takes place on the master, then that, each recording kind of, comes down a bit. So we just don't do that many per half-inch master.
No noise reduction?
No, I have no noise reduction at all.
Even on the 24 track?
I don't. I could run it at 30, but but I don't want to bring in noise reduction. I want the tape hiss. I like what it does.
Ooh, yeah.
I think it's a better listening experience. It's just my style. It's just the way I love it.
Wow.
I can run my 24 at 15 or 30, and I leave it up to the artist.
Okay.
I make my pitch, but then I get out of the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, the tape costs for a session are significant.
Significant. Right.
How much do you pay for raw tape?
Well, I'm lucky to be a dealer of both ATR and RTM, so I do get a nice dealer discount. But regardless, it's still in the $275 range for one 2-inch reel. And typically we need, especially if we're going to do two 10.5-inch reels, I need two, probably three. If we're doing a studio session, I don't know, it could go up to 42-inch reels, who knows? And I'm starting to fulfill those orders now for big bands. It's very beautiful to see it happening. 50, 62-inch reels, 25 to 45 half-inch, 10 to 15 quarter-inch. Those are orders of back in the day. I'm getting more and more and more orders like that just to produce one single next album. So I'm loving where analog is going. I think we're at the precipice now of where vinyl's comeback started. There's still some negativity that's completely misguided around tape and the cost, et cetera. But if you really analyze the market, tape will continually get cheaper. Tape decks and media. So I'm very pleased to see where it's going, and I still preach that 90% of the fun of these things is the record head. Record your albums, have fun. Record today this nanoweber, record today at that nanoweber, run it hotter the next time. See where you fall in, and you will create a love that, your Spotify and your CDs aren't going to bring to the table. It's just too plug and play. I enjoy the physical media. I enjoy the cutting. And I think the musician enjoys it so much more because they're not living in this unlimited DAW where they go Control Z, Control Z. They're prepared. They say, wow, we're only going to get maybe 50 tries with this or 40 tries with this. And they come in and they play better, in my opinion, So, yeah.
Speaking of doing that, though, you're aware of when Daptone was here in Brooklyn, right?
I don't think I know the full story of Daptone.
Daptone is really interesting because they recorded to analog. When they started, they had a 4-track machine.
Okay.
Just one.
Like a TIAC or
not
something?
Not bouncing tracks, just one 4-track machine. They said, it's kind of cramping our stuff. We're going to go to 8. So they go to 8 tracks. They say, oh, this is way better. And then a little bit later, they go, screw it, let's just get a 16. They get a 16, and then, I can't remember who I was talking to about this, he said, you know what? 16 is too many tracks. Getting rid of the 16, we're going back to 8. Just this single 8-track machine. And they had, Sharon Jones. Some Sharon Jones albums, it's Sharon, her band, background singers, sometimes strings. And I'm saying, and you're not bouncing tracks. You're just recording direct to that 8-track machine. And he said, yeah. I said, so you got like 15 people in the studio. How do you do that? He says, well, they just share mics, and I'm just like setting a level as they're getting ready, and then we just do it. And with Sharon Jones, she insisted on that the final product is a single take, no edits between takes.
I love
just
this.
Like
I love this.
Performance. And that was the thing. So I wish I could, his name is just bouncing around my head. But I interviewed him once at a show, and he said, I'm trying to record a performance, not an assembly of things that happen in the studio, and then we're going to put it all together and make a thing. It's like a puzzle. He said, no, right. I want to record people playing together in a room from the beginning to the end of the tune. And he said, not every band could do that, but he said, when it was possible, that's what we'd go for.
Totally.
And I thought that is such a beautiful idea. And you have to have musicians that want to record that way.
You do.
Because they're used to punching in and fixing things and changing things and auto-tuning and all that stuff. And
none of that's allowed here. Yeah. No, I if you look at our model, it's all live. And there's the audio reason for that, and then there's obviously the the fundraising to eradicate cancer. But to me, if you listen to our albums, they're almost like time machines. Catherine Russell, she's telling stories on here to the audience that's getting them so jazzed that they're much more into it. She's calling them onto the dance floor. She's talking about Louis Armstrong and her father and her mother, and and all this beautiful history and the way that I feel that type of album versus just an LP, a studio recording, is tremendous. And that's what I want to be a part of. So it's very similar to what they're doing. Now, obviously, we do have the 24 channel, but it's raw. It's live. It's taped. And the only fail-safe I have is we just go with more songs than we're ever going to need. Okay. So just in case a fan, an audience member, coughs, drops a drink, whatever it is that's happened.
Oh, it's always in front of an audience?
Always.
Oh.
It's always live, and I'm always raising money for cancer research. Okay. It always goes hand in hand. I think with what's happening in my life now, especially with Revox, that may start to go 50-50, but I will always push live recording. I think I get something so much better out of every musician that's doing it live than I do in the studio. And it's just a better interaction. I have more fun.
I mean, when I've been in studios, musicians are really self-conscious. Like, I want to change this. Can we fix this?
Sure, it's extremely personal for them.
Live, they're not thinking that way. They're thinking about playing, right?
They are, and I think that's majority of what brings the heat, brings the fun that we all get to experience and interact. Because face it, most of us cannot be these talented musicians that make us feel what we feel. Right. And so that's just where I like to play in that atmosphere, right? Is providing this, doing it live, doing it analog, and at every single opportunity, raise money to help, solve this, terrible pandemic. So that's what we do here.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Wow.
Yes.
Thank you, Ryan. I gotta go.
Yeah, right.
So, but what about? So when you give them the master, they're free to put it out on a label?
And this process is just getting started. We did those 3 albums there, Catherine, Adam, and Kishi, as our proof of concept phase. Let's just call it that. And now we have the ability and the momentum and the trust and the success and all those things to start to really make a difference. And I want to always be playing in the space where we can make a difference. Again, like I've said many times, especially before you started this interview, I don't ever want to become a label. It's not where my interests lie. I want to have a recording company that makes the highest fidelity recordings, the reel-to-reel marketplace where we help anyone that needs anything with reel-to-reel, and raise as much money as I can to give it to Fred Hutch, to give it to Roswell.
Those are for cancer.
Exactly. These are the tip of the sword of cancer research.
Well, sorry to bring it back to tweaky audio stuff.
No worries.
Because I know that people are obsessed with dynamic range compression.
Hit me with it. I'll do my best.
No, I think it's how it's used. It's a tool. Recording. It's like all your favorite records are compressed. They seem to think, no, it's only bad now. Led Zeppelin, we played Led Zeppelin before. It's like massively
hyper compressed.
50, 60 years ago they were doing compression. But it's how you do it. So you have like cool compressors? Tube compressors?
Honestly, no.
Are you a tube guy?
I'm more of a tube guy than a solid state guy. If I want to go to Burning Man every day at 5, I can put a solid state system on. I really am very passionate about tube. I want to hear and feel what the musician wants me to hear and feel. And sometimes I just get this overwhelming sense that anything from Mongolian throat music to Kraftwerk and anything in between, after enough time sitting with a solid state system, and I'm really sorry to say this, but especially those owned by private equity firms, it just starts to blend. There's something about it that makes me just not want to listen anymore.
Boring. Yeah.
And I just don't know what else to tell you. That's just my personal feelings, just my opinion. But no,
enough human.
No, it's not. What did Adam say? Adam Levy came in and he was so impressed with his tape recording that he asked to put us on vinyl, and he used the word juicy, right? The tubes bring me that. Yeah. And so, you saw my control room.
Yeah.
I think I have 6 pieces of outboard gear, which are all analog. I have the LA2A, the UA, a couple, 2 or 3 Neve mic preamps, a Manley API, some compressors, the compressors in the console, and that's all I got. And I really am proud of that.
But you told me that big, beautiful console, you're not really using the signal's not going through the console?
I would say that we are using 30% of that thing's capabilities. I'm using it
But
almost
the
as
signal goes through the console.
it does, but it goes straight to the tape deck, into the console through 3 transformer isolated splitters. But I'm really just using, or my engineers are really just using that as a remote, as a preamp for the tape deck. We're not running effects. We're not doing it. We want the raw live recording. So we're really underutilizing that console for sure.
So when you're going to do something with a vocal, does the vocalist ask you for anything specific about his or her voice that they want?
Always?
Well,
They will?
do they? I'm asking.
Always. An artist always wants to sit with the engineer and make sure it's great. Yeah. But what we do here is we say, well, we don't really have many options for you. We have the right mics, right? We have the right engineer. We're going straight to tape. Come in and see how it feels. But again, most of it's live, so there isn't really that that comfort zone or that time period where you can tweak and do all these things, right? And I don't want to be involved in the fixing. Right. I want to be involved in like raw recording that sounds epic and you can feel it when you play it back. That's what I want.
Right.
So I there's a million things you could do, but I don't want to do them.
You can make them comfortable with that.
100%, because tape is there's something that happens, and we can get into reference fluxivity and all that stuff another time, but there's something magic with tape. And once they hear it, 9 out of 10 times they just walk right out of the control room and go right back on the stage and they get it going.
Okay.
It's a totally different mentality recording here than it is at one of the big commercial recording studios, and I aim to keep it that way.
That's great.
Yeah, I think so.
So you got a lot of audio note gear here.
I do.
What's up with the audio note?
Honest to God, I never ever thought I would ever have this type of level system. I got to know Peter Quattrup through a very close friend of mine named Mike Pahalik, who's an audio note dealer who came into my life 7, 8-ish years ago wanting to get into reel-to-reel and was the definition of super new. Coached him, I educated, walked him through, and one day he said, "Do you want to get on the phone with Peter Quattrup?" And I said, "Well, for what? What am I going to say to this guy? He's so much more knowledgeable than me." And he goes, "Well, I told him your story. He's really interested in speaking with you. And if you know anything about Peter, there's a lot of similarities there between he and I. I'm not a streaming fan. I'm not an extremist. I have to fly, but I don't really want to ever listen to Spotify or any streaming things." And we just got on really, really well. And he said, "Would you like me to deliver you an M9 level system?" And I said, "Okay. If you indemnify me for it and don't, make me become a dealer, which I never want to be, I'm more than happy to have one of the world's greatest systems in here. Thank you so much." And Mike Pahalik really made that happen for us.
Nice.
And now, Peter gets to have his stuff here, and we use it for demoing, and I'm sure it's helping him with New York City and New York State. And I'm happy to help, but this was a friendship that was created, and there's mutual benefit. But honestly, if anyone asked me to buy a speaker, I would immediately refer them to Mike. And if Mike didn't sell it, I would actually go to the person you interviewed last, Adam, and send the business there. Yeah, of course. I think he's very, very, very good guy. And I would just send the business there. That's not what I do. I don't ever want to be a dealer. Not that I don't respect it, but it's not where my heart is.
Well, so can people come here?
People can come here on let's call it a private invite. This is my home.
You actually live here?
In a sense.
You just hear all the
I
time,
live on
so
Freeman and right across McGinnis, and this is on Freeman, and I'm here almost 24/7. Eventually, I will move in here to the other space behind those walls there. But again, I maintain that this will not become a public venue, that you will be invited here or not. Because again, to go back to what this place is first and foremost, it is our weapon to help raise eradication level funding, and then for cancer, and then selfishly we get to play with audio all day. Wow. And that's rad.
I think you figured it out.
That's rad.
You have figured out what to do.
I guess, but it wasn't a business plan. I didn't sit there one day and say, "Wow." I went to McKinsey Consulting with some bullet points and they booted out this plan. No, it's not like that. It's a passion, and it evolved, and I have the right people around me, and we're doing good things, and I just want to keep doing that.
So what's the deal with you and Revox? I don't quite understand the relationship.
Yeah, I'm very happy about the relationship, so happy to tell you a bit about it. And I think it's good for everyone to know. I mean, Revox of Willie Studer's brainchild, and arguably one of the best that ever did it. You know, I would put Studer Revox up with Ampex and Otari. It's probably the best three that ever did it.
I think it was good enough for the Beatles.
I have a lot more to tell you maybe in a second interview about what's about to happen, but
you got some. Okay.
yeah, but Revox decided to make a push to come back, and not just in analog, but with their other products as well. And I think over the last several years, they've struggled with the North American market. I was originally only approached to be one of the very few dealers in North America. I did really well sales-wise, and I was invited over to Switzerland and Germany about 3 weeks ago, to meet with Christoph Frey, the CEO, Volker Lange, the new global head of analog operations, and Jürgen Immelt, the global head of marketing. And they pitched me on an idea to become the president of North America for Revox, and I accepted and am now responsible for their strategic rollout of all of their products, including their amazing new turntable, which we'll get into.
Consumer.
It's all consumer.
Okay.
And I'm going to roll their products out in North America. Right now I'm in the early phases of that, just finding the right dealers throughout the country. And we aim to deliver studio sound quality back into the home with a tape deck, a turntable, an amplifier, media.
What's special about the turntable?
What's special about the turntable, in my personal opinion, is two things. One is that it is at the same level as the VPIs and the Clear for much less. It's a $5,000 to $7,000 range.
Wow. Nice.
It has a complete service center and call center here in the United States, which is Real to Real Haven.
You.
With us.
Yes, okay.
Me and my guys. And we are real people that pick up a real phone and give you real good service. Wow. And
no phone tree?
Nope. No other countries, just right here at Real to Real Haven, and they're expanding big time. Obviously, the tape deck is making some big waves. The turntable will.
And a cassette?
We're coming out with a new cassette player as well.
That's
Which
big,
is
man.
really cool. I would love to see an old Revox stack next to a new Revox stack, right?
Wow.
And so we're doing that. We also have digital products, right? We have amplifiers. We have the speakers. We have invisible speakers, botanical speakers, all with studio sound quality, and a price point that is going to really give the higher price points a run for their money. From the reviews we've gotten so far, they're stellar. Mostly in Germany. I need to give you guys some products so you can review some things here.
Definitely.
But Red Dot Awards have been won, and we're making our North American push as of 2 weeks ago. I'm wildly proud to be a part of it. To go down in the history books is payment enough, and I'm going to work my tail off to help them get back to where they should be, to where their products demand to be. And then the other reason is that their leadership is incredible, and their drive for true research and development to maintain sustainable products, I like. My B77 hasn't been touched in 35 years, still works perfect. They're going to have that happen with the MK3 and the turntables and all of their other products. So I feel very blessed at such a young age to be such a integral part of their mission and of this North American rollout. And as soon as March 25th rolls around and all the products hit here, I'll invite you back to test and bring some home, and
absolutely, yeah.
can have fun playing with them. But look, Revox is an incredible player in a market that is largely filled with marketers and dealers. There's a real company with real people that are dedicated to real research and development, and they're not trying to plug a hole.
It's not just the name, right? It's the real thing. It's the real company.
It's the real. I said to them, I said, if you want me to entertain this officer, offer, you need to fly me over there. I need to go through the manufacturing plant. I need to see headquarters. I need to sit with the CEO.
Okay.
I did all that for an entire week. No, it's not a brand. I mean, I have video, and I'll provide you with some, but their manufacturing plant, their assembly lines, their attention to detail and measurements, as we talked about earlier, is incredible. They're 76 years old, and they're going to go another 76 years for sure. And I hope to be a big part of that for them here in North America. It's just an incredible group to be a part of.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I am ready.
Cool.
I am definitely ready.
Cool. How's that?
That's awesome.
All right.
Good. All right.
Sounds
Thank you
good.
again.
No worries. No worries.